The scene begins with Jacob Crowley rising for the evening and bringing himself back to vampiric unlife, drawing himself up and looking over himself in the mirror that sits in the cabinet across on his desk. He will, after looking himself over, an unnecessary task considering the nature of one's curse, will take himself to dresser, adorn himself in casual garb of green dress shirt and black slacks, and take himself out of the one-adult bookstore into the streets of downtown. He will seek out the haunts and resting places, or in this case, haunts and relaxation places of those of his herd. Rather than dive the clubs this evening with some matters he feels need to tend to, he will instead go for prey that he is well aware of the location of and will find them without too much difficulty. For the couple of hours of seemingly aimless wandering of the streets, Jacob will have found two of those whom he has long since conditioned into his whims, not at the same time, but at various parts of the downtown area. He will draw them from their friends, each one at a small pub bordering the eastern side of downtown. The other he would actually come across, literally crossing the street in front of him before his presence catches their eye and draws their attention. In both cases, he acquires solitude, finds a proper location where both their person and the noise that they'll soon make is hidden away, and he will feast upon their blood, not hungry enough to drain them to a damaging extent, but he does take as much as he can safely from the two. Both cases are horridly similar in the convulsive fits that go through the girls. No pleasure at all to be found in the kindred's bite, but some reason, promise, some measure of activity with him in the past, they don't run screaming after the event. And in fact, let's see what the dice say about empathy. In fact, he manages to easily put one and the other back into good grace to an extent that they could almost forget about the pain entirely. At least in the throes of their dealings with him. And once armed with rejuvenating blood he needs to keep those most importantly bound to him and sustain him throughout the nights, Jacob will make his way back to the One-Eyed Dog bookstore, both ready to receive any wandering individuals and deal with his own matters. And thus the scene will end.